Hey, my first grade friends, it's Mrs. Real. I just finished recording the video of reading Insects of All Kinds with you, and I promised you a story with kind of a scavenger hunt that we need to go on, or we're going to be looking specifically for insects in our story. I told you there's a bunch of insects in there, but there's going to be a couple that might not fit what we know insects need to have. So remember, insects have head, thorax, abdomen, antenna, eyes, mouth parts, legs attached to their thorax, can have wings, doesn't have to have wings. Lots of times on their abdomens, they have some kind of pincher or egg depositor or all kinds of things that they can have down there. But they must have head, thorax, abdomen, 6 legs. So I'm going to read you a story. It's called Look Closer. By Brian and Rebecca Wildsmith. They are the illustrators. I'm assuming they're the writers of the story as well. I happen to be fans of their illustrations because when I was a little girl, I had a book of nursery rhymes that they illustrated. And a lot of these illustrations are in watercolors, and watercolors is one of my favorite things to paint with and do things with. So I'm going to get the book up here on the screen. I'm going to read it all the way through. And then we're going to go back and decide, did we find some insects or did we find some other kinds of animals? So look closer. There's that beautiful dragonfly that we talked about in our Insects of All Kinds books with their lacy wings. Look closer. By Brian and Rebecca Wildsmith. I went for a walk. I passed a stone wall and saw something move. What could it be? Do you think you see it? Ladybugs. Because that glare is really bad today on this great book. There they are. I passed a wood fence and saw something move. What could it be? Make a prediction. Snails. I passed wild roses and saw something move. What could it be? Caterpillars. I passed a woodpile and saw something move. What could it be? Ants. Ants on a log. I passed some purple thistles and saw something move. What could it be? A bee. I passed some tall grass and saw something move. What could it be? Spider. Hope you can see the spider web in there. I passed a poppy field and saw something move. What could it be? Butterflies. Now, what could these be? Some lines and polka dots. They're all going home. Just like me. So did you see some insects in this book? Did you see some things that may not be insects? Let's go back and check and see. Our first page had ladybugs. And because the paper is really dark and that light is shining bright, we need to double check. I see a head. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 legs. And I was trying to find a thorax and an abdomen because you have the head with the antenna. And I realized ladybugs have two large wings that are covering up the inside. So we can't tell, but we're pretty sure with 6 legs, 2 wings, we see the head with the antenna. I'm going to say yes, ladybugs are definitely insects. So those are insects in our story. Our next page, we found snails. When I look at snails, I can see their head. I see some antenna coming off. I don't see wings or a thorax or an abdomen from this view. Do snails have 6 legs? Nope, no legs. So snails are not insects. And we found caterpillars. Caterpillars, I don't see a head, thorax, and abdomen. I see a head and lots of long parts with lots of, if you look at this one, lots and lots and lots of legs coming off of it. Caterpillars don't look like insects, but we're going to find out next week that they are part of what turns into an insect. And we'll talk more about that next week. So they're going to count too. Here's our ants on a log. This picture is the best one because we can see head with antenna, thorax with legs coming off of it, and a big old abdomen with all of its inner organs at the back. Ants are definitely insects. Here's a bee, another great picture, head with eyes and antenna, thorax with 2 wings and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 legs. His abdomen down here. Bees we know have a stinger at the end of their abdomen, or they can. That's where they collect their pollen as well. Bees are insects. We just read about them in our other book. This spider picture is beautiful. I see a head, a thorax, an abdomen. I see antenna, and I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 legs. Do insects have 8 legs? Nope. The spider is an arachnid. It is not an insect. And our last one are our beautiful butterflies with these gorgeous poppies. Poppies are the flowers. And even though their bodies are really dark against their dark wings, we've got the head with the antenna. Their thorax is here with these 2 wings on each side. Their abdomen is at the end. We don't get to see their feet because they're on the bottom side. But remember, the butterflies, they don't have anything on the end of their abdomen. But remember, butterflies are the ones with the proboscis, which is that long, trunky thing that can curl off, kind of like my straw, which they use to sip nectar out of the flowers. So butterflies are definitely insects. So we also learned about dragonflies as insects. So dragonflies, ladybugs, ants, bees, butterflies, definitely insects. Snails and spiders, definitely not. And caterpillars, we'll be learning more about next week. So I will see you next week with another blue insect book and another story to talk more about how caterpillars become insects. I'll see you next week then.